All right, so welcome to yet another episode of Roads Untraveled by Ing That Matters, and this is Shireen Ishan. And today we have yet another discussion session on the topic that is body shaming and colorism. This, I guess, each and every person, no, irrespective of male, female, anybody would have gone through this, issue in their life. Some part of their life would have gone through this, issue. So here we have our speakers with us. So let me introduce you to our speakers. The first speaker is Dr. Bhuvaneshwari. You would have seen her in our previous, session, the talk session. She's a psychologist and she's also the correspondent of Sri Ashiana Public School and she's joining us from Madurai today. And the next speaker is Tasneem Akbari Kutbuddin, and she has been a senior journalist, a columnist. She's also a writer, and currently she writes for various blogs, and her blogs are worth reading, and I personally follow her blogs, and that's the reason I've called her today to join us for the discussion session. Hello, Tasneem.
Hi, Shirin. Thank you for this. Thank you for inviting.
My pleasure, my pleasure. And our next speaker is Deepika. She she's a software engineer actually, and that's not all. She is also the finalist of Mrs. West India, Deepika?
Yes.
Yes. So Mrs. West India 2020, she's the finalist and she's yet to win it, and I'm sure she will win it. Welcome, Deepika.
Yeah, thank you for this lovely introduction. It's an honor to share the stage with you all.
Thank you so much. We are all equally honored. So about the topic today, that is, body shaming and colorism. So each one of us also personally would have gone through, all of these, whether the person is, if that person is even not, fat or thin or whatever it is. If he's fat, he would be asked to become thin or something, or if he's thin, he would be asked to put on weight or something. So the society is always judging each other for whatever they are. So how do you see that? We will talk about it with our new speakers first today. So probably we'll start with Tasneem. So how do you see that angle as to we'll start with body shaming. Colorism will come a little later on.
Right. So, first of all, this is something that you do not realize yourself unless people tell you that. So it comes a lot from external influences, and it is also, very how the society, the culture at large has set a particular body standard for people to follow.
Right.
How models are perceived, as to have a particular figure, to have a particular kind of a body size, or so those are the same kind of bodies that you see on and on the media, in movies, and you start believing subconsciously that this is the ideal weight or this is the ideal size that I should have. So and sometimes, even when you are confident about yourself, this idea is in the heads of others, and that they start seeing you as something not normal, as defined by the society, and then they start bullying you or shaming you, saying that you are fat, or you are skinny, or you are dark, or you're not the way I like people to be. It's more in their heads. See, whoever tells you this, first of all, are not the perfect ones. They would not be an ideal beautiful individual to first of all start judging you for it. But the moment somebody says that to you, it brings so much of negativity, and no matter how confident you are, it affects you on some level. And when you hear this from more than 2 or 3 people, and that's when you start questioning things, that's when you start believing that yes, there is something wrong with you. You are not as good as you should be. You do not conform to the ideal body standards of the society, and it starts playing on your mind. And this is something which I've personally undergone. Right from my teens, I was having polycystic ovarian disorder. So I have been battling weight from my teens. All right, and it has been an ongoing battle, and I have at every step I have been body shamed, and I have been called moti and what all sorts of things, a pig, and even jokingly. So for the whole thing was that I was very happy with myself. I was very confident, so I used to take it in my stride many times and accept it like just a passing phase. But deep down, it was bothering me at some level, and I know how much and how many times I've tried to fight my body weight and do all sorts of things to achieve a kind of something that would please others, again and again. I want to tell that for me, I never thought there was something wrong with me, but the fact that others would keep telling me that, it would really bother me. So I thought, I have to be something so that it will please others, and then I will get more compliments. That was how it was. It was never for my sake or for the sake of my health or anything. So it's something that I still struggle with today. But the weight is something I still struggle with today. But mentally, I'm very much at peace. And now I do not care what people say. And now I don't even take it jokingly, because when somebody tells me, passes a remark on me, I make sure that I make them accountable for what they have said. So now nobody can get away passing a comment at me. I will lecture them. I will tell them, things about why you're not supposed to shame anybody for their weight. They could be having some medical issues. Even if they are not having a medical issue, it is not your business to comment on their weight. As long as it is not bothering you, it is not your business. So it takes a long struggle to reach that stage. And it's not like that for everybody. Nowadays, so many people are struggling with so many issues. It finally makes you it makes you recline inside. It makes you become aloof from others. So it can affect you in various ways. Socially, you can become a very introverted person. Mentally, you can become very depressed. You can start seeing yourself in a very negative way, and that is not healthy at any point of time. Also, people start trying various diets. So again, that cannot be healthy.
So Tasneem, when you say that, you get affected only because other people are talking about it. So you think people personally who are, oversized or, thin, they don't have that kind of an issue with them personally. You only say because the society is kind of affecting them, that's the reason they get affected. Otherwise, left alone, they are not, they have not got any problems as such. Is that what you're trying to say?
No, that is not what I'm trying to say. This is what I'm saying personally, that I was, affected more by what others said, but personally, I had no problem, with myself. But
so that's what I'm asking. Personally, you were happy with however you are.
Yes, and this need not be the case with everybody.
Right.
Not everybody has to be like that, not everybody has to be self-loving. Not everybody is confident. Not everybody has a self-esteem which is very positive. So that is what I'm saying, that it cannot be the same for everybody. The fact that I'm sitting here and talking about it is because I have overcome that at some level, and I'm free. I feel free enough to talk about it, to say and accept the fact that I am a plus sized person. Okay, but it is very difficult for anybody to even accept that and to come out and say that nobody wants to accept it, and everybody is ashamed of it. So the whole thing that it makes you feel shameful at some point, and so it does not have to be everybody's story like that they accept it. People feel shameful about themselves for being a certain size. It can be because of many issues. It can also be because of uncontrolled, unhealthy eating also. So I'm not saying that obesity is only because of medical problems. It is also because of a lack of exercise, a sedentary lifestyle, and unhealthy eating. But what I'm trying to say is that it is not anybody else's business to fat shame a person.
Right. Deepika, would you like to say something on this?
Yes. Yeah, I agree to all the points that Tasneem said. And I would like to take one point from what she said, like this comes from a person who is not perfect. So the problem is that that person receives a lot of comments about himself, so he starts like spreading that negativity to others also. Like he starts
Correct.
finding faults in other persons also. So basically it's not about like receiving negative comments, it's about like we never praise someone. Like how many times do we go and say to our colleagues also, or to anyone, that you look
Right.
beautiful in this dress,
Right.
or like your hairs are beautiful. We don't say that. That's the main problem. Like no one is there to appreciate anyone, and everybody is
Yes.
there to find out faults.
And
And
false.
especially this happens more when somebody has done to you. So if someone says to me that I am fat, I will start seeing out problems in other persons. So basically, like if we start appreciating small things of anyone who is around us, so they will develop a positive attitude of appreciating others also. So that is something that we need to inherit in ourselves to remove this all from our society.
Right. Yeah, Dr. Buona, what would you like
Yeah,
to say about this?
yeah. Like Deepika and Tasneem ma'am said, I take all the points, but as she said that this person who is giving a negative this thing is already affected psychologically. Must be have
Yes.
faced a lot
Correct.
of this thing, shaming or anything negative about himself. So he or she wants to pass it to other people. Like he should not or she should not feel negative, or she should not feel inferior in front of others. So that he starts doing all this thing. So the person who is doing this is already affected psychologically. So first or she has to find out what is his or her problem before telling, or before giving a name, or before calling names. He or she has to find out whether what is the problem with her, why she is doing this. So this is the thing which the society is coming nowadays. A lot of people are going through this body shaming. Like if they are fat or thin is also becoming like uh, they are flat. They are been called a very flat body, or that they don't have a shape. That you are not fit for this dress. When they go and buy a dress, they are asked that you don't have a shape to buy this dress. So this
Right.
all
Yes.
affects the teenagers. And if they are fragile from their mind, the child starts getting emotionally affected, and they start taking drastic steps. Like if they are fat, if they are called fat, or they are bulky, they start taking diets without consulting a doctor, and they start getting into a shell, and they don't come out, and they don't socialize with others because of this body shaming. So it affects a lot. These teenagers are affected nowadays a lot by this body shaming. I think this has to be like taken into a positive way, and they should discuss, as if they are affected by this. They should discuss with some like senior person, or parents, or some psychologist, or some friends, so that they can come out of this thing. Otherwise, it starts eating them inside, and they become depressed, or they start going out and socialize with others. I have been facing a lot of this type of cases nowadays about body shaming and color.
Okay, I heard all of you all, talking about the body shaming and, dark or being, fair kind of things that you get from external, sources. That is your colleagues, your friends, or the others. What about body shaming inside the family? Inside the family also, a lot of people face, such issues. It is not just your colleagues or friends or outsiders, only people who have got psychological problems, as you guys say, only they go ahead and shaming people. Even people in your family, your own parents or your uncles, your aunts, your brothers, your sisters, they body shame you too. I've got a lot of experience like that. They also body shame you. They ask you, you keep eating, you're going fat, or you're dark, or probably your sister is fair and you are dark. Things like this has start from the family. I think it starts from there. The person gets affected because people who are close to him or her kind of don't understand the other person and start judging that person. So I think it starts from there. So what is your take on it? Anybody could answer that.
Body shaming within the family is the most dangerous form, because
Yes.
you are
Yes.
going to live with those people throughout, and
Right.
it
That is
can become so constant. So
right.
speaking from personal experience, that has been the most terrible thing, actually. But this has not come immediately from my parents or my siblings, but from the extended family. But being called nicknames and being told and mocked at in family gatherings, so that is very insulting, because those are the people you see all the time. All
Yes,
right, and you have
exactly.
to face them all the time. And
Yes,
certain times, you don't have a comeback for them when you are in a
yes,
very fragile and vulnerable state of
right,
mind, and you
right.
yourself are battling your own problems. You don't have comebacks for those people when you're not that strong enough at that time. So it has been, that is the most toxic kind of shaming that I would say. And
Yes,
like you said, even between siblings, parents doing that
yes,
between siblings is not, it's something
yes,
that I have seen people do as well. And
yes.
it just breaks your heart to know that that child
It does.
must be going through this on a regular level. It's so heartbreaking. It is so
Yes,
it's so bad. Siblings one can be dark, one can be fair, and one can be fat, one can be thin, one can be flat chested. So that kind of a thing happens all the time. And and we are speaking right now as women, but men go through this as well.
yes,
We do
yes.
not
Men
talk
go
so
through
much
this.
about that, yeah, but men go through this as well. Men
Yes,
go through this for their body, for their facial hair. They have too less little facial hair, they have a very heavy facial hair or body hair. So this is rampant. This is like like a kind of like a plague which is there. So there is no escaping this until and unless you change the mindset about yourself. You cannot, it's very difficult to keep telling this to people all around you and change them. The only solution I have found is self love, and to be comfortable in your own skin. When once you achieve that level, then nothing affects you. So
but
once you
Tasneem,
are,
how far can you go and fight with your own family who is,
yes, that is what,
constantly
yes,
body
you
shaming
cannot,
you? At
you
some
cannot,
point of time, you break, you
you
break
will
and
break. That is
you
what I'm
shatter,
saying, that
and
you will
that is
break
why
and
you get
shatter.
insecure, to face the
Correct.
society, I think.
Yes. So, the only thing is that we have to become aware and sensitive towards people who are going through this on a regular level. And if we are coming across parents like that, or that kind of individuals in our own family, then we can take up the responsibility of correcting them. How much can we do? Because until and unless you are
And
confronted with somebody who is doing, so instead of keeping quiet, what you can do is you can sensitize them that your words could be hurting somebody else, and it is not the right thing to do. So this is something which I have started doing since last 2 years, because like I told you, now I don't take any kind of body shaming comments
right,
lying down, or I don't laugh it off as well. And nor do I take pleasure in calling myself moti, hati, whatever. So I have stopped that. So I have stopped people calling me nicknames and me laughing it off and agreeing with them. So I don't do that anymore. So I know I'm fat, but that does not give you the right to call me as an animal, or equate it to something else. So
right.
I have started. So this is what we can do as individuals: create healthy spaces around us for the next generation, the teenagers. They are more vulnerable and exposed to this kind of a thing, because they will grow up with it. And you don't know how that will lead to them mentally, how what kind of a mental health that they are going to have in the future, taking their body positivity or in a negative way, or however. So this is something that we can do, because instead of the more conversations like that, right now what we are doing, we are talking about this topic. So you are creating an awareness. So these are the small things that we can do as people, and also become stronger. And our self love, like I told you, see, you cannot change others, but the only one thing is that you change yourself. You accept yourself and love yourself for your good points. So this is the kind of a thing that you can inculcate in your children, in your siblings, in your parents, among your relatives, in your friends. So these are the kind of ways you can have discussions like this and create awarenesses. That's all we can do. And that I think is a huge thing. Even if you change one person's mindset, is a huge thing.
Yes. Deepika, what's your take about body shaming inside the family or inside the close circle like? What do
Yeah.
you think
So
about
like
that?
many time what happens like even we don't know that we are body shaming a person. Like यार ये तो इतनी पतली है कि हवा में उड़ जाएगी, मजाक मजाक में हम बहुत बार
Right.
बोल देते हैं. So these are some things that we need to be aware about, and we need to stop comparing a person to other person. Like even if they are siblings, we cannot compare like your sister is quite slim and you are healthy. Both the
Right.
bodies are different and both the hormones are different. So maybe like as every a lot of people suffer from PCOD and other stuffs like that. So maybe a person is unknowingly suffering from all those things due to which he is increasing, the weight is increasing or something else is there. So basically the most important thing is like we need to stop comparing two persons with one another. And as ma'am said that like we need to make our parents more sensitive about this topic. So this is something
Right.
like which we can take up in schools also as a subject or as a extra topic. Like right now we are having a lot of online sessions. So teachers are do having sessions on internet security with parents also,
Right.
or they have such topics that they are discussing now. So this is some topic that they can take up in PTO meetings and other meetings like that, where they can discuss about this topic and make them more sensitive. Because if a child is suffering from body shaming, he or she cannot go until and unless he is not so sensible, he or she cannot go and say like to her parents or explain it to them that you are doing it wrong or you are saying it wrong. So instead of that we can like make it a culture to incorporate that in a school, or like any any activity where we can make parents more aware about this. Because it's not possible for each child or any person to overcome this and explain it to others that they should not do this, right? As we said that such persons become very introvert in them. So it's not even if they realize that that person is doing wrong, maybe they cannot go and say that to them. So basically we need to stop comparing, change some beauty standards in our society, and maybe we can take this up as a topic in school where children get to know this about from the start.
Right. Dr. Bona, what is your opinion about this?
See, as everyone is telling that it starts from the family only, or family,
Right.
or nearby relatives or friends or close by relatives. But
Right.
for this, we have to take class, or we have to guide them. It's not possible because parents, we cannot change the parents' mindset immediately.
Right.
So we have to create awareness. But nowadays, many people have come out of all this thing. Now, everyone has started thinking that body or the outlook doesn't matter. Only the
Right.
intelligence is the main thing. So nowadays, we can see many people, even the people who are attacked by acid attack people, they are also coming out of their this thing shell, and they are doing lot of work.
Right.
Social works are going on. So people
Right.
are coming out of all this body shaming and all. But some societies, in some where some people are there who are really affected by that, and in which they are not able to tell out, or that is mainly the teenage category. I will take teenagers who are really affected, and they don't know how to overcome all this thing and face the world. So this is the place, this type of panel or this type of discussion only help. When they watch this type of thing, they understand that they are not the only people who are going through all this thing. So many people around the world are going through all this problem. So it is the what I will say is duty of the parents to guide the kid or guide the child, that they should not uh, take it into a very serious this thing. Because a child, when they are growing, they go into a different phase of their life. Once they will be very like when they are young, they are chubby. When they are a little teenager, they grow into different, the body goes into different type of changes. So it's only the intellectual which helps them in the future. So it's not necessary that you should be good looking, you should be very thin, or you should be like a model with all the correct size and all those things. See, everyone has a flaws in their life. So it's
Dr.
not
Bona, I would like to interrupt. You said, not everybody needs to be good looking. No, why is that being fat is not good looking, or why is that only being thin is
yeah,
good looking?
yeah.
Everybody is, good looking in their own skin. You just
It
need
is
a
the
good
inner
heart.
beauty.
That's
It is
all.
the inner beauty.
Yes.
Heart. Heart is the,
Yes.
that is what I am telling. It's not necessary. See, people are only looking at the face, but you don't know that
Right.
whether the face is really good face or a bad face. You will be a
Right.
good looking person, but inside how you will be, you don't know. So
Right.
it's not necessary that a person looking good is a very genuine or very kind hearted or very nice person. So it is always the personality or the way they handle themselves or the way they keep
Yes.
themselves or the way they handle themselves and they handle the person around them, the way they talk with each other. That is what is genuine. It's not
Right.
only the body or the beauty of a person which is important.
Right.
See, a person can be very beautiful, but the way they take the person, the way they treat the other person is not good. Then we start hating the person, isn't it? But the
Right.
other person, like we just see the models or the heroines or the whatever comes in the reel. We don't take that into a real this thing. Real thing is very much different than the real thing. See, real thing is you know that a person can jump 3 or 4 times in a bike. The next time, if we do it in reality, we will end up in a hospital only. That we have to understand what is real and what is real. So it's not necessary that a person has to be a good looking or a very fair skinned or very slim and all this thing. It doesn't matter whether they are this. They are good from the heart. That is main. So they have to be beautiful from their heart. That is what I
Right.
wanted to tell. And I want this every teenagers to know. Adolescent girls are going through a lot of this thing. They are nowadays going through that zero body or whatever zero figure. I hope
Yeah.
that zero shape. So they start eating tissue papers and all this thing to maintain their health because they don't want to eat. If they eat, they gain weight. So if some people are going through a diet, they start, if they eat a little bit, they start vomiting, putting their finger inside to make themselves thin. So all this thing is not a normal thing. This is a psychological problem which has to be treated, and the parents should notice what the child is going through and why she or he is doing like that. What is the root cause of this which made the child to take this decision? Why
Right.
they went into a drastic change? Why they have started dieting? What made them to take this diet and all these things? Because teenagers never do on their own. One thing is if their role model always they take as a some actor or actress or someone, or otherwise they would have been body shamed. Because of that they have started taking all this thing or
Right.
something. So first the parents has to find out before telling them that you are chubby or you are very thin, you have to eat a lot and all. See, it can be genetic. My daughter is very tall and very thin. She has been body shamed every time. She always comes and tells me that everyone teases me because I am very tall like a boy, but I don't have a good figure like a girl. I say Shushmita Sen is very tall. See, it's not like that. See, it is genetic. Your father is like that. Your father is very tall. He's very thin. So that is genetic. So that also plays a role. That we have to tell the kids that it is not your fault. It is your genetics, or it is nothing to do with your personality. So
It is
you
not
can
fault
be
at all. It is not a
yeah,
fault at all, Dr. Bhuwana.
yeah. That we
However,
have
the
to tell
body is, it is nobody's fault, I
nobody's
would
fault. But
say.
the
Yes.
people, those who tell them, know that the child starts feeling that it's my fault. Why I am like this? Why I have become like this? So they start coming and telling us, it's my fault. Something has happened. That's why I'm like this. Other girls are like that. Other boys are like that. So we have to tell them that it's not your fault. It is genetic, and nothing to do with your body. You are intelligent. You can shine in every field, and your body does not give you any name. You don't have
Right.
to think about your body or your beauty. It's not that
Right.
your heart should be beautiful.
Right. That's a very nice point in terms of, a parent's perspective that you have spoken, Dr. Bona. And I would like to ask Deepika, because you are there in the modeling field, Deepika. Right now, you have this trend of, plus size modeling also. Plus size modeling has become very, very, appreciative. It's been,
Yes.
welcomed everywhere. So, in one side of the coin, there's a plus size modeling that has been appreciated. Plus size models are welcome; they are treated, equally, and everything. And the other side of the coin, people are body shamed for being fat or for being healthy and all that. So, how do you, see that? What is the balance, and what is that the whole agenda like? How is that a plus size model can be appreciated, and the same time, she can be shamed? How do you see that? Because you're from the modeling field, I would like to know that.
Yeah, so like as I would also like to say that I am not a thin person. I am very fat. I am like 70 plus kgs. So that's what I am trying to change in the society near by me. Like people can see, like we get often get influenced by people who achieve something, or like who are like we were talking about Sushmita Sen. So those are the peoples that can impact the societies, and that's why like I had chosen this field, so I can make an impact on that thinking also. Because the community from which I come from, Sindhi community, a lot of girls are fat, and like we always are told that we need to lose weight for doing this, we need to do that. So that is one kind of mentality which would like to change, and that's why I have chosen this field, because I want to make an influence on people about how they think about themselves, or how they um, how beauty should be defined. I need to change that standard. So that's why I am not losing weight, I am not doing anything, I am going to the competition the way I am, because I got a lot of time to do what I need to do for losing weight. But I didn't choose to lose weight, I choose to be healthy. So I started incorporating daily walk in my routine, not to be thin, but to be healthy. So basically, we need to make people understand that you need to be healthy, and not you need to not you don't have to be very slim, you don't have to be very healthy, you need to be healthy. That is one thing that we need to incorporate. And to one of the points that ma'am was saying, uh, of a lot of times when we go to our community meetings or gatherings, so a lot of people start commenting on us in front of our parents. So that is one thing that our parents should defend back to them, like, no, my daughter or son, however they are beautiful. So that is one thing. And like one or two incidents that happens with me in my office also, like a couple of girls are very sensitive to getting waxed, or they cannot get a threading or upper lips done. So those are things that if someone is not doing that, we should not go and tell them, yaar ki yaar tumne threading nahi कराई, तुमने wax नहीं करवाया. We need to understand that if that person is like that, they might be there for a reason, or we should talk to them some other ways and try to understand what their problem is, instead of going and saying कि यार तुमने ये नहीं करवाया, तुमने वो नहीं करवाया. So we need to become more sensitive towards understanding people that are around us. Only then we can impact the people that are in the society. If we don't understand the pain of person sitting next to me, I cannot go and heal other person who is sitting miles away from me.
So see the person as a person and not as a commodity or a product.
Yes.
Yes. That is the baseline. Actually see that person for that person as to how he or she is, and don't see that person as a product or commodity that has to be polished and be well kept, things like that. A lot of people I know, a lot of friends that I have who don't do eyebrows or upper lips or chin. They have facial hairs in their body. That is their body's condition, and they are absolutely okay with it, and they don't want to do it. It's their call. Why is anybody having a say in it? I'm asking. I get angry when somebody points out, okay, see, so they come and gossip to me, see, she's got facial hair, she's got mustache, or she's got this chin hair, and she's not done her eyebrows. How does she even go out, and how does she even come to office and things like that? Yeah, Tasneem, you'd want to say?
So I want to say over here that first of all, body hair is very, very natural. Okay.
Right.
Not having body hair is what is unnatural, first of all. So anybody, any human being born is born with hair. So that is what is the natural thing. It is we who go and it is we who are trying to, fit into a kind of a thing where we are removing body hair, okay, to have that smooth skin, because maybe some men will like it that way.
Yes.
All right?
Yes, exactly.
So again, we are looking at that smooth, flawless skin of models and actresses, and we want to have that. So achieving that, we want to remove our body hair. So again, this is, first of all, body hair is natural, whether it's in your face, on your on your chin, or where men and women both have body hair. First of all, period. Okay. Second,
Yes.
it is your choice whether what you want to do with your body hair. You want to grow it, you want to remove it, you don't want to remove it, you want to trim it. It is absolutely your call. So it's nobody's business to go and ask anybody whether it is because of a sensitive skin or whatever is the issue that they are not waxing or not removing the thing. It is nobody's business, and you should not even want to know the reason why they are not doing it.
Yes.
It's because we have to normalize the body hair,
Yes.
we don't want to have reasons why you're not waxing. That is not the thing.
Yes.
The thing is, she's not waxing because why should I wax? Body hair is the most natural thing. You are born with the hair, this, that. So you're born with, just like you're born with 2 hands and 2 legs and 2 eyes. You don't go around chopping your hands and eyes and not, because that's how you are. So why should you have that thing of removing something which you are born with, first of all? So let's normalize body hair. Let's not have this kind of a expectation of a very smooth, flawless skin, no hair seen. The moment we have, functions in our house, we all want to go remove all the unnecessary hair growing here and there. So, now for me, it's been so liberating to know that I have come out of that. Because for me, even if I have gray hair, and sometimes I just let it grow. Because for me, it's a task to dye my hair all the time and to dye my roots all the time. And even my mother keeps telling me, why are you, my hair is black and yours is white. I'm like, Mama, please, I just don't want to do it right now. If I want to do it, I will do it. But let people know that I have gray hair also and I can look like this also,
Right.
So that has to be normalized, because
Right.
you
Yes.
cannot, and you don't have to look beautiful to everybody all the time.
Yes.
That has to be normalized, is what I'm
Gray
trying to
hair is also beautiful.
Yes.
It's not that only, when you have black.
Beautiful. It is natural. Okay. It is a
Natural,
part
yes.
of your being, and it does not have to be beautiful also. It is
Right.
just a natural part of your being. It's there for a purpose. So let
Right.
it be. Okay.
Yes.
So if you don't want to remove it, don't remove it. If you want to remove it, if it is bothering you, you remove it. But then it does
Yes.
not have to. We should not be having this kind of a conversation anymore. It's 2020 now. So we should not be
Right.
having this kind of a conversation about having body hair and not having body hair and all that, because it should be an individual choice and body hair should be normalized. You
Yes.
go
Yes.
to a function, you see somebody who's not waxed, it's okay. Why should I, look certain way for somebody?
Right.
For me, I have to tell you that, I suffer from chronic pain disorder called fibromyalgia. And in fibromyalgia, you get hypersensitivity. So I used to get hypersensitivity of the skin. So my skin would hurt. So it's called allodynia. Allodynia is very hypersensitivity of the skin. So this it has been since 5-6 years that I'm suffering from this. I never had this problem before. So every time I would go to wax, I would never feel that painful or it a problem. But now I cannot wax because it hurts me to no end. I cannot feel a lot of heat on my skin because it pains me 10 times more. I cannot, for me, tight clothing is something I cannot wear. Elastic bands on my body or anywhere I cannot wear. So, I have to let go of too many things. So when I'm at home, I feel, what I mean. So I try to be free because I cannot bear that tightness of the elastic on me. So that's how sensitive my skin is. But I don't have to tell this to anybody because it's not anyone's lookout, why it is like that. But there are conditions like this which exist, and there are conditions like this which people are battling. And also coming to this topic, I want to also mention the medical fat phobia that exists among doctors, where if you are a fat person, you go to a doctor, the doctor will only judge you for being a fat person. He does not, first of all, he or she will first listen to your problem and equate it to your body weight. So even if you're having a broken bone, they'll be like, okay, if you need to lose weight. Like, no, I have a broken bone, it's paining. Oh, if you lose weight, everything gets, a normal.
Yes.
So, this kind of thing is happening. And when I was getting diagnosed for my pain problem, I would have seen more than 20 doctors, and 10 of them dismissed me saying that it's only because of your weight. If you lose weight, you will be fine, your pain will go. So this is how I was shunned away by all the doctors to a point that I stopped going to doctors. I started bearing the pain and I went into a very bad depression because I stopped meeting people. I switched off my phone for days. I would not get out from my bed. I would not brush, bathe. So that was the extent of depression I went into because I was not finding a treatment for myself. And everybody said that the whole point I was going to the doctor was to tell him that it's very painful for me to even walk. And the remedy the doctor was giving me was to walk every day to lose weight. So the thing is that, you know, I was very perplexed to because he was not able to understand my problem. So this happened repeatedly with me, and all doctors kept on saying this to me, you know, till it took me a long time to find a right doctor who would understand and look beyond my body and look inside my body, okay, what is wrong, and it can be of some other underlying causes also. I have actually literally held hands of doctors and said that no, I have not come here for a diet or a fat, I have come here to treat my pain. Please doctor, give me something for my pain. So I have literally done that, you know, so helpless I had become. So these kind of things are existing in the medical fraternity as well, where you know, I don't know who came up with this body mass index, BMI. It's the most ridiculous thing, let me tell you. You know, where somebody divides your body weight with your height and comes up with one ridiculous weight that's saying that you have to be like this. So that is the first of all the most you know, it's a scam first of all. So let me say that, yeah. And even the doctors who believe that also, I think you should not go to those doctors as well. So it's very important, you know, for doctors to be sensitive, because you are there to heal people. And if you start judging people on your weight, where will the fat people go?
Right.
I recently interviewed a plus size model, and believe me, she was suffering from a broken spine since 4 years. It took her 4 years to get diagnosed because all the doctors told her to lose weight and she would be fine. It was only after 4 years that, you know, some doctor actually recommended an MRI. Imagine, that's the first thing you would do if a person
Yes.
is, you know,
Yes.
complaining to you of a
Yes.
back pain. You don't,
First
you
thing
have
to
to,
lose
yeah,
everything.
the first thing. So it took her 4 years for a doctor to prescribe, ask her to get an MRI done and to get diagnosed with a broken spine.
Right.
It's just that she's a dancer. She's so physically fit that she was even able to survive the 4 years of pain. Okay. And if it was for a normal person who was not that active, they would have been bedridden by now.
Right.
So this has to really go. This has to be sensitized, and
Here
doctors
I
have to
want to
be.
tell,
Yes, yes, Dr.
actually,
Bhuvaneshwar.
yeah, even my personal experience, I want to tell.
Yeah.
I have double chin. So whenever I meet some people or I take pic or something, everyone say, "You are very good, but you can reduce your double chin." See, it's it's a like heredity. My mother has, my grandmother was having. So it's like there. I cannot do, and I'm not at all bothered about my double chin. I'm very happy with my double chin. I am very happy. See, everyone say you look chubby and all this thing. You are good looking, but the thing is, your double chin is making it look odd. See, and the same thing, I don't do eyebrows because I cannot tolerate. I like if I do one, no, I will start screaming, and without doing one, I'll come out. With one eyebrow done and one eyebrow without doing, I'll come out. So I have very sensitive skin, so I don't go for eyebrows and this removing this hair and all. I'm not at all bothered about all this. So everyone keeps on giving ideas. See, you do this exercise, neck exercise, your this thing will reduce. Because of this double chin, have a back pain. I don't understand with this double chin. How can I get a back pain? I don't know. But they'll be advising me, you do this exercise, that exercise. It is my problem. See, I am above 40, so I don't care about this double chin or whatever it is. Even I tell to people, see, if you see my picture and you see that I am very beautiful, you just come and see me in person, because that is all filters. Because in reality, I don't look that beautiful. That is taken in a filter. So this is a society is like that nowadays. They always want to give advice about beauty and all this thing, which I don't care at all. I am like, मैं हूँ जैसे हूँ वैसे ही हूँ. And even when my dad was posted, I come from a family background, as Shireen ma'am know. So when we used to travel to some other places, I have sorry to say, but some North Indians used to say, Madrasi हो, Madrasi तो इतने गोरे नहीं होते. Why you can't be a Tamilian fan?
Right.
मद्रासी नहीं, हम
Right.
तो बिलीव नहीं कर सकते आप मद्रासी हो. मद्रासी ऐसे इतना गोरे नहीं
Right.
होते, आप काले नहीं हो,
Right.
पता नहीं आपको देख के लगता नहीं है आप मद्रासी हो. So this is the thinking that exists. Still, they have this in mind that
Yes,
we
it's still
Tamilians are
there.
not fair. Tamilians cannot be fair. Tamilians cannot look beautiful. So everything is there. I think so. In Tamil movies, the actors, those who come from the flop actors who come from Bollywood, shine in this Bollywood. I have seen
Right.
many actors like
Right.
Simran. But our Tamil actors go there and shine, like Hema Malini, Rekha, Sri Devi, Jay Prada. They are all South Indians. See, how they
Right.
are. And now you can see here Kiran, Simran, all these girls are from North. They were
Right.
flopped in the Bollywood, so they came to
Right.
the Tamil movies. Now they are shining here. So this is what happens. But they think that Madrasi to kale hi hote hai, gore nahi hote. We know
Right.
what. So this was the impact which I got when I was younger. I used to travel to many places. Everywhere, my friends used to tell me this, no, that
Right.
nahi, you cannot be fair. So that was something which I hated that time. क्यों नहीं होते हैं? क्यों मद्रासी गोरे नहीं हो सकते क्या?
Thank you, Nisreen, Madrasa Wala, like loving every bit of this conversation. And thank you, Rabia Patel. Nice topic and great conversation. Thank you, people, for having given us your reviews. The conversation is still on. So, all right. So, as we are talking about body shaming and colorism that is, happening in our, Deepika, your okay, so let's add. Okay, you had gone
Yeah.
off stream for some
Yes,
time.
yes. Yeah,
Okay,
a
all
network
right.
issue.
All right, no issues. All right, so as we are talking about the body shaming colorism right now, so let's move on to, picking up a bride or a bridegroom. How the family, what are the, the conditions, the various stages that especially the bride, goes through. And even, if the bride is dark or something, then she's doomed. The way her family first of all views her as to how she is, inch by inch of her body is analyzed. How's the hair, how is the texture of her hair, how's the the skin. The mother immediately goes ahead and she mixes up some kind of a carrot juice or papaya juice. Every day it is given to that girl so that she'll become fair all of a sudden by magic. The curry leaves and everything is applied to her hair because she'll have Rapunzel kind of a hair. I have gone through all that. I am actually sharing my experience. Every day I used to take the papaya juice or the carrot juice. I used to apply a lot of home remedies because I am not very fair. All right, I am not very fair at all. So all this was done because the parents were under the notion that no, all this will be the criteria. The girl has to be fair because as soon as you open the newspaper, the matrimonial section, all you find is you need a fair girl. Whether she's a housewife or whatever she wants to be, that is secondary. You need a fair girl and you need a highly intelligent or highly educated girl, but fair is mandatory. The boy might be dark or ultra dark, whatever it is, but the girl has to be fair. And a more top of it, very fair actually, not just fair, very fair. So how do you guys see that? Have you met people like that who were like like this or gone through like this? Anybody could just pick up and answer that. I guess Tasneem has a lot of things to say by the
So,
facial expression.
yeah, because first-hand experiences are there, though with colorism, though I have not had, but I have seen
Yeah,
people
right.
around me going to great lengths to get fair. And I have had people coming up to me and asking me, what is the secret that you are fair? Because frankly, I don't know. It's only genetics. It's just I'm born like that. So I would not know what to tell them because I'm a person who does not do anything on the face. I'm very scared to put anything on my face. So people, so in college I used to sell. I was doing this Avon business, cosmetic business. So there used to be this whitening cream available in that. And my friends and people around me used to buy that like crazy from me, thinking that that is what I apply. And they would, yeah. And so I have sold so many of that. That was a very expensive cream, mind you. And college girls buying that because I'm selling it, thinking that maybe I was using it. No matter how much I told them that no, I don't apply anything on my face, that did not work, because they thought I was lying. And probably this is the secret to my fair skin. So I have sold many dabbas of that. I also remember my sister, she's pretty fair as me. She has a tone, like a slight tone darker than me. It's just negligible. I don't know who told her that she's dark when she was small. She started applying Fair and Lovely every day. Okay, and I would tell her that, why are you doing this? My father would tell her, why are you doing this? And she would be like, I don't know, because somebody in school called her dark and they told her that your sister is fair, you are dark. She's not even dark, first of all, let me tell you that. But she was too young to understand that. She just absorbed that, and she started doing that. She has used so much of Fair and Lovely as a child, not even in her teens. So I have seen happening. I have seen happening this in my in-laws family, where me and my husband both are fair. We have fair children because we are fair. But my relatives, the husband and wife are dark and their child is dark, which is the most natural thing. And people have gone and told them that, why is your kid so dark? Like literally, when you see the baby in the hospital and they've asked the mother, why is he dark? So these are cases which I have seen with my eyes. And even the person asking this is dark only. So I do not know on what level can you make these kind of people understand that your color, the color of your skin has absolutely everything to do with genetics. It has nothing to do with, it's not in your hands, it's not in your power. The skin tone. I'm sure even you, Shirin, would have experienced people asking for detan soaps and fairness soaps and
Yes.
fairness creams.
Yes,
Because
I've
that's
put a lot of articles on that, people
Yes.
asking me for fairness soap. People who come to take workshops with me, they ask me whether I teach fairness soap. If I say yes, they're ready to, go ahead and register. But I say soap has got nothing to do with your skin type.
Right,
Probably you
yeah.
can enhance your complexion, bring out healthy skin, but you can't bring out or you can't change your skin color. Like Michael Jackson, you just can't go ahead and become fair overnight, because he's not used any products to become fair. It is something else. So you can't be doing that with a soap that you buy. So but people don't understand.
Yes, they don't understand.
Say the same kind of people, they go ahead in the market and they keep asking if somebody is selling fairness soaps or detan products. So those are the kind of people, and people sell also. I've seen a lot of people selling detan soaps, fairness soaps, because they want to become fair overnight, and they claim that their products makes the skin fair. So that is also there in the market.
All the time, yeah. So like you said, matrimonial, the fair is the main criteria. You don't want to see how the person is, what are the talents, the skill, but fair is the first thing, no matter whether the husband is fair or dark.
Yes.
That is not seen, because they think that if you have a fair, the children will automatically be fair, because that is again stupid, because it can be anybody's genes that could
Right.
go in the child, and the child could look like the mother or the father. So but assuming that, having that kind of a mindset, this was there in my family. I remember in my grandfather's time, when they were choosing brides, for my uncles, and also they had this criteria themselves, that it has to be a fair bride, because then the children will be fair. So this is such a stupid thing to think of. First of all, the child should be born healthy, should be the first criteria, all right, and not the color of the skin. And secondly, to not value a woman based on her skin color is just objectifying a woman, and reducing her to a kind of a commodity or an object.
No, the way they are reduced to the commodity, I will tell you. This, bride, they come, the bridegroom's family, they come, they see the bride, and the moment they see the bride, they tell her on the face that she's dark, they reject her and they go away. I have seen all of this live. So that is why I'm able to, tell you. They come, they see the bride.
Yes,
that
absolutely.
the bridegroom himself will be probably a 10th pass or a 12th pass, and that's it. The
Exactly.
girl
Yeah.
might have achieved a lot of things in her life, but all that doesn't matter.
Matter.
Her color is what they see. They say, okay, the girl is short or something, the girl is, not very bright or very, fair or something. They reject her on face and they go off. So that is the kind of society that we are, living in. And the parents, the girl's parents, also accept that probably there's some fault in the girl, and they
Yeah.
try to, go ahead and give all kinds of, ghar ke nuske to that girl, instead of giving it back to the, the boy's parents, or instead of saying that this is how their girl is and they're proud of that girl. They don't go into that line. They go into this line where they, the boys parents have taken them, saying that the girl is dark or something, so probably something has to be done for that first, and then probably you should go ahead and look out for a boy. So this is the case that is happening in our society right now, and I've seen a lot of cases like this, live cases,
Yeah, I want
as
to
to
tell
where the
you.
boy rejects the girl outright, saying that you are dark or something, instead of even
Yeah,
knowing that girl. Probably
yeah,
at least after
I
knowing
know.
that girl, if he rejects her, it is fine. Yes, doctor.
Yeah. My friend mother used to tell me that, see, for you there is no problem because you are fair. See, my daughter, I have to give double dowry. See, dowry also increases according to the color.
Yes, yes,
She used to tell like
yes,
that. आपको तो
yes.
कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, आपकी बेटी की शादी हो जाएगी. But
Right,
for my daughter, no, I have to give double. So
right,
she used to give that home remedies and everything to make her fair. And I
right,
remember when from the bridegroom side they came to see the girl. The mother-in-law actually she saw her, and then that girl went inside, and we all were sitting. The mother-in-law came inside, and she had a long hair, and she just pulled her hair to check whether it is a real or
yes.
artificial hair.
They do that.
My
And then she
God.
asked,
Yes, they
yeah,
do
then
that. Yes, they do that.
she asked her to bring a glass of water. I thought why they are doing this. I didn't understand. Then my mom told that because to check whether she's
To check whether
walking
she's
properly
walking
or whether
properly.
whether she has some problem in her leg. So
Yes,
all this happened. That was the time when I thought this all should not be done in my case. One person should come and that's all. Other than that, like Bhed Bakri and all, you should not select. Finish off all this drama and all I want to. Because that girl hair was pulled by that lady to test whether it is true or whether she has a really long hair or it is an artificial or she has fixed something. So this and
I
all
had
happened.
gone through all of this, so I know, what happens, as to how
Very
it
terrible.
happens and all that. It's very terrible thing to do,
Yeah.
though you are qualified, though you are, a person, a living person with, flesh and blood and, all kinds of emotions. People kind of treat you like a commodity, just like buying tomatoes or potatoes from the market. They treat you like that. They ask you to, stand up, to check whether, what is your height like and
I,
how it is that you're standing. They ask you to walk. They
oh,
pull your, hair to check, whether that is real or not. They even touch your skin and see whether it is only the makeup or really that is the color of your skin or something, or you're hiding something and all of that. Some people ask you to wash your face also and come. There are a lot of things that happen when they come to, see. Probably it is called an informal meeting, but it is not an informal meeting. It is outright, humiliation of that girl. That is what I think.
yeah.
Deepika, you'd want to say something on this?
Yeah, actually, this had happened with my friend also, where the groom that had came to see her told her to go and wash your face first,
Right,
though she was not applying any makeup also.
right,
And one more thing is there that the media is also responsible somewhere for this, because they keep on endorsing ads where they tell that, like you might have seen an ad where they tell uh, a person asks the girl that why she's shining so much, it's her marriage or something or like that. So that is not something that only marriage is not one thing for which I should look beautiful. I should look
right,
beautiful every day.
right,
And we also have ads where they say that lose weight before your marriage in 25 days. No, I don't
right,
need to lose weight. So
right,
somewhere or else the media is responsible, and it's glad that we are having actors like Anushka, Sushant, who have rejected fairness ads and said that no, we don't want to do them. So we need more people like that who come up with these things, and they start like we need to more people who need to address all these issues at a media level also, because they are the persons who can impact the society more than what we can do.
Right. The point here is the women themselves are not able to, understand their daughters, I guess. The women themselves, they are not being supportive of this issue. That is the, the base of this, problem. That's the reason we are discussing right now. Because the women, the mothers themselves, they are not being supportive of the daughter. Probably why, my daughter is dark. So what? She's intelligent, she's confident, she can face the society. That is not how a mother thinks. That is not, no, you, Deepika, you told me that, we'll have to have, school discussions with parents and all that.
Yes.
Definitely that is not going to help, according to, me. Any number of discussions that you keep with your parents, they are going to leave that discussion at the school compound and they are going to, walk back, because it is their mother. The mother's mother. From the childhood, they have been inculcated with these kind of, thoughts in their mind, that this is how a girl has to be, this is how a boy has to be. A girl has to be fair, she has to have long hair, she has to have that figure. At least before the marriage, she shouldn't be fat and all that. So all that has been already, kind of values that are inculcated in the person's mind. So just with one session in the school with the teacher definitely will not change their mindset, because it is all there in their blood as to how it is. I can say even in my family, yes, from generations to generation, it passes on that a girl who is fair is only beautiful, or a girl who is, thin is only beautiful. It is not like that. People don't want to see that, as to how that girl's heart is, or how capable she is. Is she able to handle the family? Is she able to handle, or her near and dear ones, or is she able to take up that office job? They are not interested in that. They are only interested in the face value, which I think has got no value at all. I don't even know why they call it a face value at all. Tasneem, you want to add something? Yeah, Doctor.
After marriage also, if the girl faces some body shaming from the mother-in-law or sister-in-law, anyone, if she comes back to her home and tells a mother just tells her, you have to adjust to this.
Yes.
Yes.
So
That's the word.
Somehow you adjust. This is family.
Whatever may be the issue, you'll have to adjust. That is one thing.
She won't
that
even
is
listen what the girl
is
trying to tell.
Yes.
She's
She won't even listen.
So she cannot go anywhere. She cannot come to her parents and tell to her mother, or even to her in-laws. Both the sides she will be facing the problem. If the mother listens to her, it will be better. But the mother herself will say, ये तो होता है सबके घर में, तुम्हें adjust करना पड़ेगा. You adjust yourself. See,
no, even I adjusted when I was married. So you also do it.
With your dad. I adjusted with your grandfather. See, like this. So now you also adjust.
Yes. So whatever I did, you also do it. You don't have to change anything at all. You go through the same shit that I went through also. So I'm not going to change anything for you. That is what the mother says, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's more often than not. More often than not, it is we women only who are, propagating this kind of things.
Yes.
We have the power to put an end to it. But
we don't.
are the ones propagating it. As mothers, as sisters, as mothers-in-law, as friends, come on, we can own up ourselves that at some point of time we have also done all these things in our life, where we would have, told somebody that you're looking fat, you're looking thin. How many times do you meet a friend after a long time and then you tell them, "Arey yaar, patli ho gayi tu." Don't we say that? It's the most natural thing. You don't bother to ask what you did in so many days. Did you add value to your intelligence? Did you learn something new? No. Man, you look thin. Oh, I do. Oh, thank you so much. And you feel flattered. So, so change that when you start as individuals. All those people who are watching this conversation, all of us who are taking part in this, we have to, take that pledge that we will not be that woman. We will not be that mother. We will not be that mother-in-law, who is... as a mother also asking our daughters to compromise, we will not do that. As a mother-in-law looking for fab rights for our son, we will not do that. So
Yes.
it's the onus is on us to a great extent. How we can't keep on blaming men for all the patriarchy and the misogyny. We have to
Right.
understand that we as women are a big part of propagating this mindset for ages.
Yes.
Okay.
No, I would
And
say women are the main, concern here, because they themselves don't like to see them the way they are.
Yeah.
If they are dark, they immediately get into some beauty regime or something, or they want, fair-skinned brides for their son or something. And that is how, the women kind of put women down, I think. So that's the reason
correct.
we are actually having
No,
this
actually,
conversation right now.
woman is putting woman down. Why this happened? Because the demand is like that. See, nowadays everyone wants their wife or their fiancé to be very beautiful, fair, with a good eyebrow, neat eyebrow, without facial hair, everything. So that's why no other choice for the girls. They have to do that.
See, again,
But
we are
Dr.
using the
Buona,
word as
you
a
said,
demand.
the demand is like that.
Yeah,
Who
what
creates
demand,
the
what demand?
demand?
Again, we are talking
Yeah,
about
who
women
creates
as
the demand?
products,
We
but we
ourselves
use
create
the
that
word as
demand, right?
demand.
That is the thing, no? That
Yeah.
is like, see, a mother is
So this
pressuring the
kind of,
daughter that you
first
have
of
to
all,
do all this.
this kind of,
That is why, that's what I am telling is, but mother is telling the daughter, you have to do all this thing. So she
Yes.
doesn't know
correct.
what to do, where to go. So she has to agree to her mother, because
Right.
her mother will be telling her, देखो कर लो ना, burden हो जाएगा हमको, कितने दिन तक तुम्हें घर में बिठा के रखेंगे? I have to get
Right.
you married, so you have to do it. You don't listen,
Right.
then they start that emotional blackmailing. तुम्हारी वजह से हमारा लाइफ हो गया, सब हमारे बारे में बात कर रहे. So this type of things start happening. No, the girl doesn't know where to go, so she has to go and she has to do all this thing, whether she likes or not. But she has to do for her mother or the society. See, that's the
Right.
thing. The girl doesn't want to do, but she is pressured to
But
do
she
all
has
this
to,
thing.
yeah.
Yes.
She has to do her eyebrows. She has to
Everything
do
actually
waxing
here
and
happens for the
everything.
society only. Everything here happens
Yeah.
for the society.
If the
You're
mother is
fat, the
supportive, no,
society
she
tells
can.
them, she immediately wants to change it. Don't wear, you're wearing a lot of revealing clothes. The society tells her, immediately she tries to, go ahead and cover that.
Yeah.
Or they say, you're dark or something, immediately. She doesn't take any decision on her, for herself. It is all based on the society. However the society wants to see her, that is how she sees herself. That is why, I think that is actually, the society is actually showing her the mirror, instead of she showing herself as to what she's capable of doing or what she wants to do. That's what I think. Tasneem, you'd want to add on
Yes.
something to this?
No, that is what, so that's, like I said, the onus is on us as
Yes.
women to bring that change and to stop that. We, even if you change the mindset of one person around you, consider that you have made an impact. Even if you
Yes.
change yourself, it's a big thing. So
Yes.
so as individuals, you become conscious and sensitive about the other person, about the language that we are using, about the comments that we are passing, about the kind of compliments that we are giving. Let our compliments not be based on the physical appearance. Let's start over
Right.
there first of all. Let's not let's stop commenting on how people are looking. You're looking fair today, you're looking thinner than before, okay, you're looking better than before. Why don't we talk more about other things? How are you happy? What did you do? What
Yes.
skills did you add to your to yourself? What book did you read? So these are the conversations that we can initiate, instead of
Right.
just talking about our physical aspects of it. So as
Yes.
friends, as women, as sisters, we need to start bringing this change around us. Even
Yes.
as I'm speaking, I know I have a teenage daughter who thinks she's fat, and I am struggling day and every day to put that positivity in her. But I know how difficult it is. But
Yes.
as long as everybody changes, we can't bring that change also.
Yes.
So we
Yes.
have to, so we have to work together. We have to work
Yes.
together as larger, as a larger group, and have more conversations like this and more discussions like this, so the
Right.
change is possible.
Right. So I guess the body shaming, the person who's fat, he or she must be going through a lot of medical conditions. Like, for example, PCOD. If a person is suffering from PCOD, definitely he or she will put on weight. He or she will have facial hair. it is not that somebody does it voluntarily. No, somebody doesn't want to be, very thin or very, fat in life. It is not that they have always aspired to be. It just happens naturally, maybe because of your body condition, your health issues, or probably your, food, the routine that you follow. So it is all based on that. So I don't think anybody is happy about being, very fat. Yeah, I always wanted to be fat, so that is why I'm fat. Or I always wanted to be thin, that is why I'm thin. It is not like that. So I think we will have to start accepting people as they are comfortable in their own skin, so that if society is, the people have decided that society will be the mirror that people would see and, feel confident about themselves. So be that kind of a positive mirror is what I would say. Tell them that no, you are okay, you are normal, that is how you'll have to be, or however you are, it is okay. So as a society, probably we can project that kind of a mirror to others, so that people also will, start accepting themselves as they are. Deepika, you want to add something to it?
No, I was just saying the same thing. Like, we women need to support other women, and like we need to not make them guilty for the choices that they make. Like, if she wants to do something, we should not make her feel guilty about it. Maybe we are also doing something wrong, which she might be not be liking, and she's not saying to us, and she's supporting us in that point. So if she's making any choices in her career, in anything, that's her personal choice. We need to support that. Even if we are not able to support it, we should not criticize it at least.
Right.
And like, self love is one thing that we can start implementing for everyone. Like, you need to start loving yourself the way you are.
Right. So this very conversation that we are having, the discussion or the conversation that we are having today, is for us to change our mindsets first, with the different kind of experiences that all the speakers have got. So first we would have to change our own mindset, and then probably people who are watching this episode or will watch when it will go ahead and stream in the YouTube, so probably their mindset would change. Probably one or two also is an achievement, I guess, and we would all be, happy that we have created an awareness. So thank you so much, all the speakers who have joined us today for this wonderful, wonderful conversation. I can actually go on and on this conversation, because I've got a lot of personal experiences to share, probably in a different time and space. I would definitely go ahead and share my experiences on this body shaming and colorism. But today's conversation, I thoroughly enjoyed. Tasneem, you'd want to say something on how the conversation was like?
It was it's just that we all look different, and we have different body sizes, we have different colors, but we all have experiences still, to add to this kind of a body shaming and colorism. So what does that say about the society? It's a shame. It's a shame, because
yes,
everybody, all of us have something to say. That means that all, at some point of time, we have all gone through something like this. So it says a lot about us that, no matter what you do, you're not going to be perfect. You're never going to be perfect in other people's eyes, So all that matters is how you feel about yourself, how confident you are in your skin, and how you accept yourself with your flaws. That is the only thing that matters at the end of the day. So I just want to say, everybody who's watching this, I just want to tell them that, love yourself, be comfortable in your own skin, accept yourself with your imperfections and flaws. You're beautiful the way you are. That's all.
Yes. Dr. Bona, you'd like to add something?
Yeah, like today's conversation was very good. Like Tasneem ma'am said, it was very, like everyone is going through some or the other this thing, and we have all faced this thing. The only thing which I want to tell is, let us all ignore the society, the people, those who are trying to pull us down. Let us be confident, and like we'll start loving ourselves, and whatever we are, however we are, this is the way I am going to be. That's enough. We need not have to prove that I can be like this, I can be like that. Whatever, however I am, that is God's creation, and I am very comfortable in this way.
Right.
So this is what I want to do. Take it in your stride and go forward.
Right. So a person's capability actually is not decided by the way or he or she looks. And the capability is all that matters for you to survive or live in this world. So I think you will have to hone your skills, your capability, and don't think about anything else as to how you look, what you look, how people perceive you. All that doesn't matter at all. Your capabilities, your skills is what will speak at the end of the day. So I would suggest anybody who is watching the show or will be watching the show to concentrate only on developing your skills and nothing else. Be good at heart and develop your skills, and nothing else actually matters and nobody else matters. So, all right. Thank you so much, speakers, for having joined us today for this wonderful, wonderful conversation. And I'm sure you guys have enjoyed, this conversation or discussion with each other. And definitely, we will all join back again for another interesting session. And people who are watching this show or who are going to watch this show, this will be streaming in the YouTube channel of Ink That Matters in some time now. So you can go ahead and watch that show, and also ask your near and dear ones to go ahead and see this show, and probably you can take a pointer or two as to how you should treat each other in terms of and not as a commodity but as a person in flesh and blood. So that is what I would suggest. And thank you so much, Tasneem, Dr. Bhuwana, and Deepika for having joined us.
Can I add one thing?
Yes, Deepika.
Yeah, I would like to say it was an amazing session, and I would like to suggest everyone who is watching the videos, like, start complimenting people around you. You will feel better.
Yes, that's a good one. Thank you, Deepika. Thank you, Dr. Bhuwana. Thank you, Tasneem, again. And thank you, audience, for having joined us and left us your lovely comments here. I would suggest please go ahead and watch the show on the YouTube channel of Ink That Matters. And please do subscribe the channel too, because we have a lot of interesting discussions coming up very soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. See you.
Okay.